Hi, hello and welcome back. Been a while since we have seen each other face to face, so much so that I turned on the camera and I thought, what the hell am I supposed to say? How does this go again? Who am I? What am I doing with my life? What is this? I had a minor existential crisis about my YouTube life existence, but then I decided that I'm just going to, start from the beginning. I'll tell you how I have been. I haven't really bought any new makeup, as I also mentioned in my previous video where I showed you the makeup that I took with me on holiday. I haven't really bought anything since the last summer collection that Lisa Eldridge released in the beginning of June, mainly because I didn't see anything that was inspiring to me. Brands haven't really been doing anything that I find interesting. I was too tired and just too preoccupied to even have time to think about new releases. I will admit to having bought one of the newest YSL blushes though. I tried for several days to resist it, but in the end I couldn't. It was just the kind of color that really speaks to the depths of my soul. So I bought it, I'm going to show it to you, we are going to do comparison swatches when it arrives, and for the rest, like I said, no new makeup has been bought. Possibly some backups of things here and there, but nothing really new. I'm waiting with anticipation fall releases, holiday releases, what our Lord and Savior Dame Mother Pat McGrath has concocted together with Louis Vuitton for their makeup line. And that's pretty much the only release that I am, excited about on the short term. I decided that since I didn't really buy any new makeup this summer, I don't have new summer favorites to show to you, so I'm just going to rely on some makeup products that I've purchased in previous years during the summer that I've really enjoyed, and I'm going to use them in this video, and we're going to chat about how everyone has been. I'm going to start off doing my makeup because we are going to go into town in a little bit with my son and my husband. I'm going to take the Inglot eyeshadow keeper. This is a new top since I panned the previous one when I was on holiday. But anyway, what was the last time that we saw each other? So the last time we saw each other was prior to the arrival of my cousin. I'm pretty sure that was the last time we saw each other. So that was about a month ago. He came, yeah, it was about a month ago. He arrived on July 13th. And I think the last video that I filmed was shortly before that, and I had made a tentative promise that I might try to film a video in between his stay here and our summer holiday. Obviously that didn't happen, but he arrived, we had an absolute blast. He stayed here for 2 weeks. So the idea was he just finished high school. He is a native New Yorker. I have a lot of family in New York. So he was born and raised in New York, and he just finished high school. And I knew that he was going to some sort of like a special sciencey high school, but I didn't really realize until he casually mentioned that that's the high school that Neil deGrasse Tyson went to, that it hit me that it's not just a special high school, it's like a really special high school, like Brainiac's kind of high school. I'm going to take my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in the shade 3 and 1, because as you can see I've tanned a little bit, so I need to use my summer foundation shade. This is the only foundation that I have that fits me in the summer. In fact, so much so that I just ordered a backup of this because I already knew from last year that there is not much product left in here, excuse me. And the thing is that this foundation was given to me by a friend of mine in 2016 or 2017. She had purchased it for herself, it didn't work out for her, and then she gave it to me. And I have enjoyed using it ever since. I am also utterly shocked that this foundation, no, it has not gone bad. I don't detect any weird smell, and it's just the perfect summer shade for me. I really enjoy it. So I ordered a backup of that to cover me for the next decade, essentially, because that's how often I use this foundation. I will use it now for about a month or so, and then I'll slowly start going back to my normal foundation shades. But anyway, that was a short explanation of why we're using the shade 3 and 1 from Estee Lauder instead of my usual 2 and 1. He stayed here for 2 weeks with the idea that he's going to shadow me at the lab. It was not really a relaxing holiday type of visit, although we did combine a lot of work with pleasurable moments. But the idea was that he's going to follow me here for 2 weeks at the lab so that he knows what it's like to work in an academic research setting. He's more oriented towards working in a pharmaceutical company, and he mentioned that he might still go into medicine, but he wanted to have this experience to add on to his college applications, because I keep forgetting how wild it is to get into a good college in the US. You basically need to stand on your head and convince everyone that you're going to win several Nobel Prizes to convince them to let you into a good university, and he wants to go to a really good university. So he's going to start off in a school, like a college, this year. He's going to take all the courses that are required by the fancy university he wants to go to, and then he hopes that by taking those courses, acquiring a lot of extracurricular activities, he's going to be able to switch. Let me remind myself, what do I usually use for my summer concealer? Oh gosh, I still have that one. You know what, let's take that. This is the Bendy Avocado Concealer from First Aid Beauty in the shade 3. So it's this guy here. This concealer has been discontinued, and I had a lighter shade of this concealer that I used up, and because this one is too dark, as you will see, it's perfect as a concealer right now. It has taken me some time to finish it, but I can see that I'm also starting to scrape the walls here, so there's not much left in here. I should probably have smelled this before I put this on my skin, but it's fine, it's still good. So that's what I'm going to use for my concealer. I'm going to blend that out. So we did quite a few things at the lab, actually. I think he experienced quite a few different molecular biology techniques. I would definitely consider this quite a unique experience for a high schooler, because I don't think many high schoolers get the opportunity to see and experience what he did, because I also let him do quite a few things by himself to just get an idea of what lab work is like. And I think he really enjoyed himself. We did a little bit of fun things here and there, not too many, because I think he also just needed a little bit of rest. To quote his mom, he hasn't slept or taken rest in the past 4 years, so I think he really needed also a little bit of downtime. Let me grab a powder real quick. I am going to use my beloved Prada Reset Rebalancing Powder. I've really missed this powder. I'm just going to apply it on my smooth buffer from Sonia G, and I'm going to apply a light layer over the foundation. Today is going to be quite a hot summer day here in the Netherlands, so I'm hoping that this combination of products is going to hold up well. So yes, he was here for 2 weeks, had a blast. He went back to New York. We had an additional week here at work, and then at the end of the week we headed towards the beach. Let me quickly smoosh the powder and the foundation together. Let's quickly do brows with the Too Faced Laminating Brow Wax. This is also a brand new product, as I mentioned in the makeup that I took traveling with me video. So where was I? Oh yes, we took off on holiday, and for the past 4 years we've been going on holiday together with my parents for about a week to a summer, to like a, not a summer, to a resort on the coastal line of Bulgaria. That's where I come from. I'm originally from Bulgaria, but I was born in the capital city, Sofia. And if you didn't know that, the whole like eastern border of Bulgaria is the Black Sea. So every summer, everyone who lives on the west side of the country, such as myself, I come from Sofia, which is on the western side of the country, migrates towards the east where the coastline is. And there are 2 really big coastal cities along the shoreline. Their names are Varna and Burgas. The biggest city on the southern part of the coast is Burgas, and the biggest city on the northern part of the coast is Varna. And the resort that we go to is near Varna. It's called the Golden Sands, and it's, you know, one of those resorts that has a ton of hotels, a lot of like tourist, like a high peak tourist season in August. And now getting into the color cosmetics, I'm going to start mentioning the products a bit more in detail, because these are essentially summer favorites from previous years. Starting off with a product that I purchased last year. This is one of the Lancome CE Transforming Bronzers. This one is in the shade medium. A gorgeous color, beautiful formula, very blurring on the skin, very finely milled, a really lovely shade range as well. I think it leads a little bit coppery, like red coppery, and that's really the perfect tone for me when I tan in the summer. So this is really a lovely bronzer to use, especially now that I've got a bit of a tan. I mean, I use it all year round, but especially now I think it would look lovely on my skin. Where was I? Yeah, so our hotel is located at the very like edge of the resort, so it's usually quite quiet there. The hotel we go to is also, it's an all-inclusive hotel, so they take exceptionally good care of us. We always really enjoy our time. So you have the hotel, you cross the street, and then you're immediately at the beach. And the coastal line of Bulgaria is so beautiful. It's all sand. There's no part of the beach that is stones and pebbles. It's really, the whole coastline is sand. Towards the northern part, it's a bit like bigger grains of sand. Towards the south, it's a bit more of a fine type of sand. The sea is a beautiful shade of like blue, green, and in the summer it gets really warm, 26, 27 degrees, perfect for swimming. And especially if there are no big waves and no like underwater currents, it is lovely to swim in. We were not very lucky that way this year because the sea was rough most of the time we were there, but luckily not too rough, so we could still swim a bit. Either way, the hotel has a lovely infinity pool option, so if you really wanted to, we could just go swim in the swimming pool, but everyone in my family prefers the sea if possible. Turning our attention to quite a old summer favorite, this is Electric Bloom from the original line of blushes that was released by Pat McGrath Labs. This is a beautiful, bright watermelon color, and it is just such a flattering shade on me. So lovely, so brightening, and it just gives so much life to my face all year round, but especially in the summer months. I absolutely love this blush shade, and I always really look forward to using it. Once again, I lost my trail of thought. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, that we were not super lucky and the sea was not in its quietest and calmest we've ever seen it, but it was possible to swim pretty much all the days except for the very last day, but then we just went to the swimming pool. Except for the very last day, it was possible to swim in the sea, and we had an absolute blast. We really enjoyed ourselves. We rested up really well. Oh, and I wanted to tell you about a book that I read on the beach. Actually, it's like a whole series of books that I am going to continue reading now that I'm back. I also put a bit of this blush through the bridge of my nose, just, you know, to imitate a little bit of that lovely sunburn effect. Just going to blend it out a little bit better. Moving on to highlighter and another summer favorite, this is the Divine Rose blush. Yes, this is the Divine Rose blush. All of a sudden I blanked out on what it's called. The Divine Rose blush from Pat McGrath Labs, which comes in her Hard Gelée formula. I think this is the only blush that she ever released that was in this specific finish of this formula, because she has released Hard Gelée blushes, but this is more of like the Blitz type of formula, and a lot of her other blushes have been more in the Astrally type, VR type formula. So this is the only one that comes in like this more Blitz type formula. If you know your Pat McGrath Labs Blitz VR Astro shades, you will know exactly what I mean. But this is a gorgeous blush, and it goes super well specifically with this blush shade, and especially in the summer months. A highlighter that I particularly enjoy in the summer months. Absolutely lovely finish on the skin, a very subtle, you know, not glittery type finish on the skin. If you don't like glittery, that's the problem. Well, the thing with a lot of the other Hard Gelée highlighters from Pat McGrath Labs, I still love all of them. I don't mind if there's a little bit of sparkle, but I know other people really mind the sparkle, and that's why I think it's a shame she didn't release more of these like Blitz type highlighters, because there's no visible glitter in here. It's just a sheen. I'm going to set all the powders on my face with a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, just using my sponge, and then I will tell you about the book that I read. It was a recommendation from my husband, and when I tell you the genre of the book, you're going to be absolutely flabbergasted that I, of all people, enjoyed it. Leaving you on a cliffhanger here for a few seconds. Do you remember the summer when Guerlain released their original quads? The one that come in this gorgeous Hard Gelée formula. This is the original one that I bought. This is the shade Royal Jungle, and I absolutely, to this day, adore this quad. So that is the eyeshadow palette that we're going to be using today. I'm going to grab Royal Jungle, and I'm going to go into this beautiful sparkling chocolate metallic brown shade, and I'm going to apply that all over my lid as a one and done shade. So the book that I read is called Dungeon Crawler Carl. I will leave the title of the book in my description box, so that if you're interested you can check it out. The genre of the book is Lit RPG, which stands for Literature Role-Playing Game. And now you're thinking, Mariam, did you like get a prefrontal cortex stroke when you were on holiday? Is everything alright? Because we've literally never heard you talk about video games. And you would be correct, I don't play video games, not RPG, not any other kind. I just never got into video games. As much as my husband loves video games, as much as my son loves video games, I just didn't get into them, so I just couldn't care less about any sort of video game. Which is why it's very surprising, probably to you, that I'm reading a book which is essentially a retell of what would happen in an RPG. But let me tell you, there is a catch in the story. I will try to tell you what the story is about without giving away too much details. But the story opens up with a dude who, in the middle of the night, is standing outside of his apartment block because he's chasing after his cat who accidentally jumped out of the window. And the cat is like one of those fancy Persian flat-faced award-winning cats, like she's a show cat and she's an award winner, so she's really fancy, and she belongs to his girlfriend. And she accidentally jumped out of the window. He goes out to chase after her, and while he's outside chasing after the cat, something quite surprising happens. All of a sudden, like, every building inside just collapses, and it's as if it never existed. So all of a sudden he finds himself in this extremely strange situation, and as he's standing outside completely flabbergasted by what has just happened, thinking it's probably just a bad dream, this like sort of AI type voice tells everyone who is still alive that what just happened is that everyone who was inside the building has basically vanished, and whoever was outside of a building, in terms of like humans or animals, is still alive. Everyone else dead, gone, disappeared forever. And obviously this information sort of hits him as like still probably some sort of a bad dream. But then the AI voice tells them that the remaining humans have an option to either proceed to the openings of what is called the dungeon, or they might stay outside and just fend for themselves. If they can find food, if they can continue living outside in these circumstances, good for them. The ones who think that they will not be able to survive like this just enter the dungeon. And obviously when he enters the dungeon, it is revealed that he is now in a RPG type situation where he needs to fight monsters. It's exactly like an RPG, you know, you fight monsters, you gain experience, you gain things, you get upgrades, and then you have to go through like a variety of different levels. And at the very last level, if you manage to get to the very last level, I don't exactly remember what the advantage would be, but it would be something that you can go back to your world, I think, and possibly be the leader or in charge, something like that. I forgot exactly what the draw was. Let me now show you what I'm going to do next. I'm going to take a tiny bit of this shade here. This is a very deep brown shade, and I'm going to work that very gently here, just in the lash line for a little bit of definition. So he chooses to enter the dungeon, the cat goes inside with him, and then all sorts of things happen that I'm not going to give away, just in case you decide to read the book, because it's a very it's a fun adventure book. Yes, it's set up like a video game, like an RPG, but it is still really fun to read. But the reason I was drawn to this book, and I knew this was going to happen because my husband had already told me about it, is that at one point in time, due to one of those like magical objects that you acquire during the game, the cat, whose name by the way is Princess Donut, gains the ability to talk. So yes, we've got a talking cat and a human playing a sick and twisted alien RPG. It's also revealed that this whole dungeon setup, dungeon crawler setup, is a TV show for the intergalactic aliens to watch and have fun with. But you know, I don't think I'm going to give away much more than this, just in case you decide to read the book, but now you know why I was attracted to it. There's a talking cat in there whose name is Princess Donut. She's absolutely hilarious, by the way. Cleaning off the pencil brush, and I'm going to just take a little bit of this shade here as an inner corner highlight. It also makes for a gorgeous topper, but I think I'm going to use something else as a topper. Another one of my summer favorites. I was completely obsessed. I don't know if you remember that last summer I was completely obsessed with liquid eyeshadows, specifically the liquid eyeshadows from Pat McGrath Labs and Lisa Eldridge. And something important to mention is my oldest liquid Lurex eyeshadows from Lisa Eldridge are now nearing the 2-year lifespan, and they started to dry out. And I have to say that the ones that I have from Pat McGrath Labs, which is one of the eyeshadows that I'm going to use today. This one is in the shade, I think it's my favorite. Ooh, is it my favorite one? No, I also really like the other one that I have from Pat. I have several from Pat, but there are two that I purchased originally that are my favorites, and purchasing the additional two was definitely a mistake because I never used them. But this is the shade Lunar Rose, I think. And it is this beautiful like champagne pink with blue sparkles in it. I absolutely love it. But what I've noticed is that while the shades from Pat have also started to dry out, I feel like they held up a little bit longer than the ones from Lisa Eldridge. At least for me, the ones from Lisa Eldridge started to dry out quite surprisingly. I don't know what your experience has been. By the way, I just drew a little bit here on the back of my hand, and I'm going to apply it with the brush very gently over top of the brown shade all over my lid. And I'm going to try to not overdo it because I don't want this shadow to overtake. I just want it to add a bit of sparkle. But yeah, as predicted, liquid eyeshadows eventually dry out. I don't know what your experience has been, but most of my liquid Lurex eyeshadows from Lisa Eldridge have started to dry out, and the same is the case for my Pat McGrath Labs ones. The ones from Pat are quite old at this point because I bought them even prior to the ones from Lisa Eldridge, and they had already belonged to someone because I bought them secondhand, so they were quite old. But the ones from Lisa were brand new, and the oldest ones I have are about 2 years old. So I was a bit surprised that they already started to dry out. They're still usable, don't get me wrong, and I can probably still mix a little bit of Inglot Duraline in there to give some new life to them, but still, I think the important lesson to remember here is that liquid eyeshadows dry out, so if you're going to buy one, you have to commit to using it. But look how gorgeous this eyeshadow is. This is one of my favorites. So this one and the other shade that I have from Pat, let me tell you the name of it. Yes, the other one is Platinum Bronze. So these were the original ones that I bought, and these are also still my favorites. I also have a green one and like a coppery brownie one. They're really gorgeous, and they're probably still fine because I haven't really used them much, so I haven't opened the packaging much. But I just never think about using them, which is a shame. I should not have bought them. Anywho, quite a boring look as you can see, but the fact of the matter is that I'm wearing a skirt that has quite a few colors on it. Let me show it to you so that you get an idea what I'm talking about. It's like this gorgeous A-line skirt with beautiful motif on it with like these really big flowers, and the three main colors are this beautiful like cornflowery type blue, a darker red and a darker brown, and a bit of like this vanilla off-white color. Absolutely stunning. In fact, today I'm on a quest to find a proper like top for it, because I'm wearing this red top now, but it doesn't quite match with the red shade of the skirt. As you can see, this is a slightly more berry type red, and what I actually want to do is I want to find, I think, a top, either a tank top or like a t-shirt in this brown color, because I think that would fit really beautifully with this skirt. But it's a beautiful skirt. I bought it a few summers ago when I was visiting Sofia, because they have a store there of this brand that I really like. It's an Italian brand called Motivi. They have like gorgeous unique pieces every now and then. They're not cheap, but their pieces are really beautiful. Anyway, so because of that, I'm going to keep the eye look quite simple, and I'm going to wear a red lipstick. I'll be back in a second. And the last summer favorite is a lipstick that I bought 2 years ago, and I absolutely loved wearing it all throughout the summer. That is the Luxuriously Lucent lipstick from Lisa Eldridge in the shade Palazzo, which is this beautiful, gorgeous, like a chili kind of red, like chili pepper kind of red. It's not necessarily a red that fits very well with my skirt. That would have been Duchess, but I really wanted to use Palazzo because Palazzo is such a gorgeous shade to use in the summer. I'm going to quickly line my lips with a little bit of a ribbon, also from Lisa Eldridge. And by the way, if you were wondering what I had on my lips prior to now going to apply the lipstick, I had a little bit of the Lush Gloss from Pat McGrath Labs in the shade Blood 2 as lip care / to give my lips a little bit of a stain. So I wiped off the layer of the lip gloss that would make my lips appear more glossy, but I still have a bit of a stain going on my lips. I'm just trying to go through these glosses because I don't want them to go bad. And now I'm going to put Palazzo. And here you have the final look. I think it turned out really pretty. I feel really put together and ready to go to town. We're going to have lunch in the local cat cafe. So I have another week of holiday. By the way, we returned from the beach and now I have another week of holiday that we're just going to spend around here, sort of like a staycation kind of thing, because last year I did that and I really enjoyed that actually. We can do a few things around the house now that we have all the time in the world. I can do a couple of like trips to town, get coffee with friends, relax, sleep in. I'm hoping to have quite a few opportunities to film throughout this week. If there are any particular videos that you would like to see from me, I mean, do let me know. I think one that I really need to finish now, because I started filming it last summer. You will not believe this, but I started filming this video last summer, is my luxury lipstick overview video. I did all the lip swatches and I just have to film the part where I talk about the different formulas. A year later, I have an even better idea how these lipsticks work, but anyway, I'm not going to waste your time with that now. I hope you enjoyed this look. Do let me know what you thought about it. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!